Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. Today, we're exploring the fascinating and honestly, slightly mind-bending way our brain processes the world around us. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually wondered if the reality you're seeing is, well, the reality that actually exists?
Most of us naturally believe our perception is completely objective, right? You look out the window, you see a tree, you hear a bird, you just assume you're experiencing reality directly. We literally all walk around acting like we have this passive video camera right inside our heads, just faithfully and accurately recording whatever happens to be out there in the physical world.
But what if I told you that camera is actually heavily filtered? What if your emotions are actively reshaping your reality? And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical question. Modern neuroscience has completely proven that your internal emotional state, your fears, your stress, your anxieties, literally and physically alters your perception of the world.
Section 1. Objective perception versus active construction.
So as it turns out, the brain doesn't just sit back and observe. It's more like an active master builder. Let's look at the hard science here. There's this absolutely fascinating theory in neuroscience called predictive processing. Basically, it's the idea that your brain is constantly predicting reality. It anticipates emotionally meaningful outcomes way before it even fully processes the sensory input. To put that simply, if your brain expects danger, say because you're feeling stressed, your perception instantly becomes biased. You'll literally detect danger before your eyes have even fully processed the actual image right in front of you. Wild, right?
Section 2. The Threat Detection Machine, Scanning for Danger.
So why exactly does our nervous system act like this hyper-vigilant radar system, just constantly pinging for threats? And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when those internal filters change. When you're happy, your brain effortlessly filters for positive cues, opportunities, safety, even humor. But when you're anxious, that exact same brain, in the exact same environment, suddenly flips. It starts filtering for threats, negative interpretations, rejection, and risk. It is literally like putting on a pair of dark, heavy glasses.
Let's break down how this anxious state actually alters what you perceive. All of a sudden, totally neutral faces start to look angry to you. Ambiguous, totally harmless situations feel highly threatening. An unexpected door closing, it sounds incredibly loud. And shadows or sudden movements will grab your attention almost instantly. Now, there's a very good evolutionary why for this. Our ancestors didn't survive by just chilling out and being relaxed all the time. No way. In evolutionary terms, prioritizing false alarms, like, say, sprinting away from a shadow that turned out to be just a very intimidating bush, was much safer than missing an actual literal predator hiding in the brush.
And when that fear actually hits, it is deeply physical and incredibly fast. Your sympathetic nervous system just kicks into high gear. Your heart rate instantly spikes. Your muscles tense right up for action. Your breathing rapidly changes. Your attention completely narrows on the threat, and your sensory systems are instantly heightened. Fear literally, physically optimizes your entire body into this rapid, survival-focused state in a fraction of a second.
Section 3. Distorting Space and Time. Physical Perception.
Okay, we're shifting gears here to the anatomy of an experience. We're going to explore how extreme emotions literally bend the physical dimensions of the world around us. Now, what's really interesting about this is that studies suggest when you are fearful, you actually genuinely perceive physical space differently. Heights are perceived as taller, distances look longer, slopes seem much steeper, and dangerous spaces feel way more extreme. Just think about it. A terrified person standing near a cliff literally experiences a larger, more terrifying drop than someone standing completely calmly right next to them. The physical reality is exactly the same, but the perception, it's totally amplified.
And it's not just space, it's time too. While objective clock time remains completely constant, a second is always a second, your conscious experience of it can be dramatically stretched and psychologically distorted. If you've ever been in a car accident or, some sudden emergency, you know exactly this strange feeling. Those few seconds seem to just stretch out into these long, subjective experiences. It really feels like things are happening in slow motion.
So why does that time dilation actually happen? Well, it's because the brain processes significantly more information during high-stress moments. Fear causes this massive spike in your attention and your memory encoding. Your brain is basically snapping thousands of extra mental pictures to help you survive whatever the threat is. And because of all that extra data, when you look back on it later, the event feels much longer and just far more detailed in hindsight.
Section 4. Emotion rewrites your past. Memory distortion.
So we've talked about how fear warps the present moment, the space, the time.
But get this, our internal emotional state distorts not just what is happening right now, but what has already happened. Fearful experiences are often remembered as way more intense, more dangerous, longer lasting, and highly vivid. But on the flip side, calm emotional states soften or really reduce the perceived intensity of an event. This literally means two people can go through the exact same experience side by side and genuinely remember it completely differently, simply based on their emotional context at the time. Neither person is lying. Their brains just encoded the event differently.
So the crucial point is this: memory is reconstruction. It is not a perfect recording. Your mind doesn't have a little hard drive where it objectively plays back an MP4 video file. Instead, it emotionally organizes past events. Every single time you remember something, you are actively reconstructing it through the lens of your current emotions.
Section 5. Your unique psychological reality, consciousness and emotion.
So, what does all this emotional filtering actually mean for human connection, and honestly, for consciousness itself? Well, if you take away anything from today's explainer, let it be this. Emotion determines what enters your awareness in the first place. It determines what feels important, what gets remembered, what appears threatening, and what your perception ultimately prioritizes. Consciousness itself is deeply, deeply intertwined with emotion. Every single waking moment, you are layering your emotional interpretation onto all the sensory information hitting your eyes and ears.
I want to conclude by leaving you with this incredibly powerful, really provocative thought right from our sources. Two humans can walk through the same world and live inside completely different psychological realities. Knowing what we know now about the neuroscience of fear and perception, you realize that absolutely no two people experience the exact same reality. Your feelings literally build your physical world. So I'll leave you with this question. If your emotions are painting your reality right now, what kind of world are you constructing for yourself today? Think about that the next time you feel absolutely 100% certain about what you just saw. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, Focus Learners. See you next time.